Well, thank you all for coming today to London. My name is Javier Frank. I'm a Director of Customer Success, which is a fancy name for a technical account manager that does other things beside account management. I've been here for 5 years, and I've seen enough of change in the organization to actually be very excited for this next chapter. We wanted to start the day today with something that I think it's important to enable the next stage of the transformations of this industry. And I know everyone had lunch, so we're going to do it very interactive. So I hope everyone can take your laptops out. We're going to do some coding exercise right now as part of the interactive. No, of course not. We're not going to do that. So we have a long day ahead of us. We're going to spend most of it talking about the challenges of this industry is facing and how Gen AI can either exacerbate them or help us solve them. And we anticipate that we will spend a lot of time thinking about how newsrooms can be either empowered by technology and AI and the intermediation that AI-powered experiences and audiences will see in the future, or make them completely irrelevant. And the important thing is that in order to raise to that challenge, we need to make sure that we use technology to amplify the voice of our newsrooms. And of course, I got all nervous right now. And the goal for that is to extend the reach of our content, to reach more audiences, more channels, and to drive more value from it to make our organizations sustainable. And we think that the invisible enabler of that is going to be automation. So as we go into the day, we want you to think about how automation can help your organizations drive more value of our content. But how? Why? Why automation? Because we think that in order to elevate the craft of journalism, we need to automate away the increasing complexity of content production. In the past, it was enough for newsrooms to just write an article, put it up with a nice picture and a video, and maybe push it to the website and social media. But now, as we introduce AI into the picture of content production, the workflows are much more complex. And they're not complex just for the sake of it. That is the only way that we can extend the reach of that content and derive more value of it. So that's why automation is key to drive that goal. We do have a product for that. It's called Integration Framework. Originally, when we started developing it like 3 years ago, it was mostly about pushing content out of ARC. But as we develop it and we see the industry changing this fast, we understand that it's a key element to do inside, like automation inside of the newsroom. It is a very simple concept. We have the newsroom production lifecycle going on, either by humans or automated. And what we do is that we extract, we analyze it with software, and we extract events out of them. And what we do with those events is to wake up little software automations that are written by your developers in a very developer-friendly environment, so they should only focus on what matter of the business logic in a way that in a classic ARC fashion hides all the complexity of not just writing the code, but also running it, monitoring it, making sure it works, that it never fails, etc. People use it already. I mean, we've launched this like 2 years ago, and they already use them for this type of automation. Things like tagging stores automatically, send newsletters, or optimize articles for SEO. Those are, there are a bunch of other things. These use cases are examples on our website that you can look at, sample code that your developers can use to start. Again, it's a very developer-friendly framework, and and we really hope your organizations can leverage it soon. But today we didn't want to just talk about IFX and automation. We wanted to help you go back home, and tomorrow tomorrow you can start using automation and leveraging automation at your organizations. So right now we're going to hear about interesting and non-obvious way in which one of our clients, XLMedia, we have Steve Thomas, VP of Product of XLMedia, and Luis Molina, VP of Engineering of XLMedia, and they're going to show us how they use not just IFX, but the other aspects of the platform to actually use automation to achieve a very interesting business challenge that they have. And the goal of having them up here is to inspire you all in thinking about how can you do this at your organizations. After them, we're going to do like an ideation session, so keep thinking about it. And again, the goal is that you, throughout the day, you think about how all these challenges that AI will help us with the industry, either bring into the industry or help solve them with AI, will be enabled by automation. Okay, with that, I'm going to give it to Steve.
Hi everybody, good to be here. Thanks for the time. So we're going to just talk you through a product that we developed. It's been over a couple of years actually, isn't it? We call it Dynamic Offers. It became an automated offer placement tool for our network of sites. Just to give you a little bit of a background, if you don't know XLMedia, it's a company, or has been a company reliant on affiliate partnerships. So much like some of you in the audience, multiple content verticals, lots of different sites over different geographies. North America, sports being the biggest vertical for us over this last couple of years, which has seen exponential growth, but actually the business started in casino sites way back, and also in personal finance. It's had a pretty huge personal finance network as well. I will just say we've done such a good job that these sites have started to be sold at great profit. So if you're searching for some of these, we don't own them now, hot off the press, and there's probably some more announcements to come there, but worth sharing that. A lot of commonalities though with classic traditional news media organizations and other small niche organizations. We had a key requirement when we came in as a team to centralize technology, to guess what, to drive efficiencies, to do things cheaper and faster, but improving on quality. And I guess that's probably something everybody in the audience can recognize. But in the affiliate world, it really is about getting the right offer in front of the right person at the right time. Offers, commercial offers, when we first took over, were placed manually on individual sites, often by webmasters with content written around by journalists. There was very little first-party data being used to determine which offers to serve. If you arrived on any of our sites as someone with high intent, you would actually see the same offer as someone with pretty low intent. New and returning visitors were also treated pretty similarly. And so no real differentiation there. A lot of manual work, believe it or not. There were still people managing offers on spreadsheets or different back-end tools as we moved away from our legacy setup of multiple WordPress CMSs onto Arc. We were able to start to uniform that and put that together in a whole different way. So dynamic offers really changed things for us considerably. The Do engine, as we've called it, has allowed teams to to manage offers in a really in a really different way. Manual processes disappeared. We have one central resource for all contracts, all individual offers, all the data that makes up those individual offers. So in the case of a credit card, that can be everything from the APR rate right the way through to where to sign up. So lots of different data attributes, including geo, device behavior, all coming in to help drive click-through rates. The front line were telling us they wanted to go even further than that, though. They wanted dynamic lists of offers that they could place on particular pages. They wanted to be able to optimize the product type put in front of the user or the consumer, or the particular bonus type if it was a sports betting offer. As I've said already, geo-targeting was crucial, and they also wanted to be able to update once and for that to propagate many times. So if you're a webmaster managing 20 plus sites and you have the same offer on 30 pages, we wanted to make the update once and for that to propagate. So dead easy, very easy indeed. And we had to do all of this without adding any load time, without actually bringing the sites to a standstill and without losing any traction in terms of search. Just to put it into context, the network of sites that we've been working on has relied on 80+% in terms of search traffic. So Core Web Vitals obviously being utterly crucial. So we went at it in a very straightforward way, having worked with Art for quite a time. We went off and built a power up or two, and we placed that into the ARC system, and pretty much all of the information that was going to be placed in front of the user was effectively sat in the front end. And it may not surprise you, but the trouble was that this method was way, way too heavy. We found quite instantly that as offers were trying to update, pages were slowing down, we were losing users, we had irate writers and journalists and commercial directors coming and knocking us up at different times in the night, and so we had to rethink it. And hopefully this is of interest, really. This is where we totally switched the method on its head, and using IFX and actually some great hand-holding from the ARC team, we invented page parts. So what's page parts, Luis, I wonder?
That's where I kick in. Page part. So, as you heard, we were going through the traditional method. You have the story, use a composer power-up. It's pretty much an embeddable piece that you take from somewhere and you put it into your content story. How do we automate that? So what we did is we took a different site within the ArcXP ecosystem, connected it to our dynamic offers engine, and then we created page parts. Basically, it's an offer reference within an ArcXP website that can be a single offer, manually created lists, automated lists, powered by the dynamic offers engine, right? The advantage that this has is that them being referenced in a single site within the ArcXP ecosystem, they can be pre-hydrated into the other websites through IFX, basically improving or having a direct impact in the rendering time. You do want to have high Core Web Vitals, right? And we know that rendering time, going back to the server to retrieve the offer, then put it in the story, serve it to the customer, takes time. Instead, we take a preemptive action with page parts, put them in the story, and then we have a centralized place to control all of this, right? It offers you full visibility of where everything is because the dynamic offers engine tells you where these offers are being used, not only with which websites, but also which pages and which sections within the website are these being used, right? Of course, that reduces immediately operational costs. Another side effect is their improved compliance. You don't want to be showing a wrong interest rate, a wrong APR, right, to the customer. So you have all of this information centralized. Basically then, as I described, this is the show. We have the dynamic offers engine, your offer placement power-up, right? Your editor, your offer managers go there, create the page parts, right? That's the top section there. And then once these page parts are in the ArcXP system referenced to the dynamic offers engine, everybody on any other of the websites, on any other page, can reference these other sub-stories, page parts, and embed them in their own stories as they see fit. These can be manually curated or they can be automated. It doesn't matter, right? Now, it's a simple concept, but the automation piece, right, is what makes it work, which is what you see in this slide. Once the page part is updated, basically we're triggering an IFX event, right? There is a little bit of code behind that piece. And what happens is that these content stories can now reference all the other offers that are referenced, from the dynamic offers engine. And it also works the other way around, right? Like every time you remove an offer or you update an offer from within a story, the reverse happens, which is you update backwards the offer information. And this is a little bit technical, but it's the key of the concept, which is basically keeping a reference between ArcXP stories within them, right? You have on your left side an ID, which is a page par ID, referencing on the right side, right? Which is a content story that's the customer actually seeing, and then the reverse relationship exists in there, right? So it's a very simple concept, but it really allows us to automate a lot of stuff.
So just wanted to, if we could just jump back, just to try and put it in a context for, maybe some other use cases. So this is effectively, we designed this to handle credit card offers or sports betting offers, yeah? But this can apply to any type of content. So, if you think about a traditional media owner, journalists will perhaps be writing about, people, places, individual products. That doesn't have to be rewritten. Actually, also, if it's going to be updated on a regular basis, if there's something dynamic about the information in there, then this could be set up to, to help and deliver that. At the same time, in terms of monetizing content for established media businesses, this can open up new avenues too. So we're doing that as an affiliate, a pure play affiliate. We know the challenges around display. We also know the challenges around, subscription. There's a middle ground here as well that dynamic offers could come in and help with in terms of placing the right offer in front of the right person at the right time in a whole different way. So I think Javier is going to move on to spark your imagination and push you to think about what that might be. But I think that's it.
Thank you. Anyone has any questions? I know it's, again, it's a simple concept, but it really unlocks the cross-referencing piece inside of our content powered by IFX. And that is the type of thing that is not obvious with automation, but really a powerful tool and the way they used it. So thank you for the creativity and with sharing it with us. So we're going to, there was a question?
I can see the use of that with, thank you, very professional. Within domain, can you do it cross-domain? I know you've got apps, but would it work cross-domain? So if you've got multiple sites?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's effectively you can update a full network. So wherever that page is, whatever site that is, the beauty of of Arc and IFX allows us to hold. You would need somewhere to hold the commercial data. So we use Salesforce for that, believe it or not, because it was available to us at the time in the business. But you can basically squirt that offer anywhere, or that information, that data, to any site in the network. Yeah. And probably an app as well, if you wanted to get there with that. Yeah. Hi.
Are the offers related to the page and the article, or can they be connected to users as well? So, for example, I can see an application for lead gen.
Yeah, absolutely. So we would take reference from any keywords, any tags in the particular article, but also we applied a layer of segmentation in there too. So based on a whole load of behaviors that have been collected, you could then look to place the offer based on that information and that journey. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was really crucial for us because Canada, whole different kind of scenario in terms of what you can show prospective bettors compared to, I don't know, another state, New York, for example. I know Canada's not a state, by the way, but it was a state in Canada. Yeah. Cool. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we did add geolocation layer to this later, remember? Yeah, there is much more to the sophisticated solution they built, but this is the automation part. So thanks again for sharing. So what we're going to do next is to do a small ideation workshop. So we're going to take the next 15, 20 minutes, depends how much time we have. And what we ask you to do is to just take one of the beautiful notebooks that we have here, or any piece of paper and a pen, and write ideas on how you can use automation at your organizations. But in order to make it actionable, so you don't leave just with ideas, because ideas are easy, we also recommend that you jot down the resources you might need, and the challenges that you may face to roll them out, and crucially, the business value that these ideas will bring, in order so you can actually make them into a business case on Monday. Not tomorrow, maybe tomorrow not, because of the hangover from the after party today. I am going to leave up one example from our standard use case list. Again, there is even some sample code to do this on our website about automating tax stories. Doesn't need to be something super sophisticated, but yeah, the important part is that you think about it, talk about it amongst yourselves, and then we're going to take maybe 5 minutes at the end to ask anyone who wants to share your ideas, so you can inspire everyone else in the spirit of ArcXP community. Okay? All right. Well, thanks for the thinking. I know I saw a bunch of people writing things down. So hopefully this is the most interactive part of the session. Will anyone want to share one of your ideas to begin with? No ideas about automation? Okay. Any volunteers to break the ice? Should I call people up? You have an idea, Steve? Do you want to share with? Yeah, why not?
Are there media owners with sports content here? Yeah, you looked hesitant there. We won't hold it against you. So we were thinking, obviously, we've explained our background, but we think that, established media owners who write great sports content are under monetizing that, and also maybe are spending too much on keeping some of that up to date, particularly the data sports part of it. So our idea was sports matchups. So, and from being this side of the pond, what I've realized is that in North America for football over there, matchups are served really well on lots of different types of sites, the head-to-head games. And we made a lot of money from people betting on those head-to-heads. It's less so in Europe, is my view, having worked for lots of other media owners in the past. So our idea was creating automated matchup pages powered by IFX. Powered by IFX. And so you would have the current matchup data for that particular game upcoming, served probably with some AI, serving that structured data. And then all of the historical matchup data being added already, and collected over time. You would have a unique URL relating to that as well. And also you could monetize that in a different way. So if you take our use case, you could place different types of offers in there. It could be merchandise. If you're not interested in sports betting, it could be other things. But it wouldn't have to be a display advert. And you could also push a more sophisticated subscription offer, maybe specifically related to geography, team, writer, etc., on an automated level, so that you're not having a sports journalist, and there'll be sports data feeds coming in, but they always need managed. So, yeah, not sure if I've butchered that, but you get an idea. You're nodding very kindly, so it sounds as maybe that worked. I don't know.
Thank you, Steve. Anyone else? Again, the idea doesn't need to be super sophisticated. I imagine that translation is a use case that is very common, just triggering translations after a story gets published or saved. That's something very common. We have one.
Yes, maybe in a more conventional way, would it be helpful regarding the live articles? For instance, we currently do not have the ability to have several journalists contributing at the same time in the same content, and we need to be very reactive for hot topics. And at this stage, we're using timestamps in one content, but this is not fully satisfactory, even on both SEO aspects and also from users interaction. So I was wondering if IFX could be useful to get this kind of multi-contributors at the same time, with this kind of synchronization you talked about before, and just getting into one article at a time, that would be published, I would say, in very frequent time. So I'm not technical, but this was our guess, because this is live contents are really one of our main pain points at the moment. So this gave me this idea.
Thank you. In fact, we do have an article in ALC that talks about a way of doing live content like that that has an IFX component. Obviously, each organization is different. That's why we don't have an actual product for live content that serves all editorial workflows. But there are ideas that can be probably used and leveraged in IFX. So thank you for sharing that. I think it's a great idea. Anyone else? Over there?
So sort of piggybacking on that idea, we currently have sort of child stories feeding into a parent story like that for live stories, but it was built before IFX, so we're using Kinesis events. Now, obviously, it might be easier to do it via IFX now, but we'd have to reprogram and all to do it, but it can be done.
Yeah, very likely. So as IFX develops, we fully expect that most use cases that are nowadays realized by Kinesis events will be enabled or in such a way that you can replace that more technical and complex to maintain integration with IFX events. That is part of the roadmap. So yes, that's a great idea. I guess the lunch was too good. Okay, Matthias wants to say something.
Oh, thank you. I want to share one idea. So I will talk on behalf of one of my customers. So they wanted to have some validation logic for the stories before the story was published, run this validation logic, and in case there was a mistake, an error, they would push a notification to a Slack notification, maybe Teams notification, and then make aware that there was an error in the publication of that story. So the editorial team could proactively go fix it and republish.
Yep. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, there are, most of the ideas that we shared so far are related to, enriching content, which is, part of the mission that we talked about, to amplify the message of the newsroom and elevate it. But there are things that may be completely related to internal business metrics. So every time someone publishes a story, then you may want to capture that information somewhere to know that this person published this story at some point and drive like a editorial scorecard or some sort. There are things that can be done in order to automate newsletters, and we have that use case. They're really, even if we want you to, again, the whole purpose of the session today was to have, that's why we wanted to start the day with automation, not just to be super boring after lunch. But so in order for you to keep it in mind, as we discuss how we involve Gen AI into the workflows of our newsrooms and the production cycle of our content and the distribution of our content, that automation will be the way you make that realize that in such a way that doesn't put a burden on the newsroom, which is something that we cannot afford if we are to really leverage their craft, right? So, and that is the whole point, to make sure that the journalists focus on what they do best, what no algorithm can do, no model can do, which is to know their market, know their topic, know people. And in order to do that, we need to take all the distractions, all the menial work out of them. In the same way that we did when ARC was conceived, to take away all the complexities of publishing an article on a website. We don't ask them to write HTML anymore. At some point in the 10 years ago, that was kind of a requirement. We don't want that now in the next challenge, in the next stage. That's why I'm repeating the message, because this is what the main takeaway is, that we need to automate away the increasing complexity of content production with the North Star of extending the reach of our content and driving more value out of it, so our industry survives, which it's all about automation. So thanks again. I hope you can really take some of these ideas and inspiration and bring it back to your organizations and enjoy the rest of the conference.